trying to think of how to start this, because that's always the weird part, I guess. I'm a sliced beef lasagna, and last week they had a reveal of Resident Evil 8. Resident Evil is a series that is very near and dear to me. I love Resident Evil. Grew up watching my father play him, watching my brother play him. Now I play him. I'm excited to see a follow-up to Resident Evil 7. I think that's definitely one of my favorite Resident Evils. It's got a lot of heart, and they decided to take a different direction with it, with the first-person view. I mean, it still works. I mean, it's the same game on principle, pretty much. So, I'm excited to see what they do with this next one. Now, during their presentation, they also announced what I guess is going to be the multiplayer addition to the game. Reverse? Is that a play on universe? Is that what that is? That's a play on universe. It's supposed to be like Resident Evil universe, and like this universe is colliding, and now we're all fighting. And verse is actually supposed to be a play on verses. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. It's kind of a stretch. So, looking at this, you know what? Let's take a look at this trailer. Look at him. Let him run. It just doesn't like that. It just doesn't look exciting. That's what it looks like. Clunky and uninspired. Now, I'm a firm believer of not to judge a piece of entertainment until you've tried it, for the most part. Sometimes things are just bound to suck, and Resident Evil does not have a good track record with multiplayer, at least in the idea of it being a competitive shooter. I don't think Resident Evil translates to being a competitive shooter type game. That's not what Resident Evil fans, I think, want. I mean, at least that's not what I want. I know that, with Resident Evil 3, they did our existence. I was interested in the idea, but it did not turn out well. It sucked a lot. I feel like it had a lot of things right, like idea-wise, but I just don't think it was executed well. Resident Evil Resistance, who cares? Nobody played it anyway. I don't know, Resident Evil just has a bad track record with being a multiplayer competitive type game. I just don't think it works. We can go back to Resident Evil 5 was when they first decided that they wanted to try a versus mode. I never played it, so I can't really speak on how much it was good or bad, but it's the same shit. This doesn't look exciting. It looks clunky and boring. Boring and clunky. Those are two things you probably don't want in a competitive shooter. You can definitely see that these players are just standing and trying to aim at one another, which doesn't sound fun. After Resident Evil 5, they did decide to try out Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Resident Evil 5 was some sort of test for competitive shooting elements, but then I feel like Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City was their opportunity to really seize the day. I'm saying all this like it's all one developer, but now I'm thinking about it, I don't know who developed what, but let's just encapsulate it as Capcom or whatever, I guess. I never played it, and that was because everybody said it sucked. Critics and the such said that it sucked. Don't get me started. I don't even need to talk about Umbrella Corps. Once again, I never played Umbrella Corps, but I heard a lot of bad things about it, and I don't need to experience it to know that it's bad. Sorry. So if we look at the achievements that Resident Evil has made in terms of cooperative experiences, I never played Resident Evil Revelations 2, but I heard that was a very great cooperative experience for Resident Evil. I played it for like maybe 10 minutes. I was playing as Moira Burton. Yeah, I had a flashlight. I don't want to play Resident Evil with a flashlight. Why would I walk around playing Resident Evil with a flashlight when I just played any other Resident Evil and I had a gun? and I was shooting motherfuckers the entire time. Resident Evil is not fucking Alan Wake. But besides that, I feel like Resident Evil has shown that it is very capable of implementing cooperative experiences in terms of multiplayer way better than it does these competitive experiences that are just bad. Just bad. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything besides just being bad. It's just bad. It's stupid. We need to stop making competitive Resident Evil experiences. From the beginning, Resident Evil has done great with cooperative experiences. Resident Evil Outbreak, by far, I think, is the best implementation of multiplayer for Resident Evil. I mean, I'm not saying that it's like the greatest game ever. It's definitely got its issues, but they did a lot of things right in terms of bringing a Resident Evil experience to a multiplayer situation. This game was good enough to spawn a sequel, right? They didn't just make that, right? Maybe they did. Look, I don't know, man. If Resident Evil Outbreak got a sequel, that must have meant that the first one did something right. So really, what I think we need to do here, instead of doing RE-verse, we need to reverse and make Resident Evil Outbreak 3. If we're going to stuff multiplayer into the next Resident Evil after 8, whatever, can we just do something along the lines of an Outbreak file number 3? RE-verse is going to suck. I'm not happy about it.